Welcome to Young Money with Tracey Bissett, the advice show for young millionaires in the making. It's time for some $1 Million Straight Talk with Tracey, President and Chief Financial Fitness Trainer at Bissett Financial Fitness. Each week, Tracey's going to tell you what you need to know now at the beginning of your earning curve. Basic and advanced financial concepts made clear, healthy money habits and the missteps to avoid, and all the stuff that you can do to set yourself up for a future of fantastic financial freedom. Ready to lace up and start this week's financial fitness training? Let's do it, Tracey.
Welcome to the Young Money Podcast. You are listening to episode 150, the top 3 biz money mistakes to avoid. So do you run your business from your bank account? Commingle personal and business expenses? Finance your business with your credit card? Or defer to your bookkeeper or accountant on financial matters? If you do one or all of these things, or you are thinking about starting a business, this episode is for you. In this short, impactful episode, I will teach you, number 1, your role as business owner, number 2, the top 3 biz money mistakes to avoid, and number 3, how to start new routines that will support your business into the future. Now, before we dive in, it gives me so much joy to tell you that the newly launched Young Money Scholarship Fund is powered by Bissett Financial Fitness, Inc. A portion of Bissett Financial Fitness's sales proceeds go towards scholarships to qualifying post-secondary students. So who is the Young Money Scholarship Fund for? It is for post-secondary students studying in Canada. Those that think it is important to help others achieve their goals, and I want to hear how you have helped someone achieve their goals in 250 words or less. Those that have a plan for what they will do when they graduate, and I want to hear all about it in 250 words or less. And this scholarship is not just for the students with the highest marks or those who have clocked the most hours volunteering. To find out more and details on how to apply, head over to the link in the show notes. I've completed a Bachelor's of Commerce, I have a Master's in Business, and I have also obtained the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst designation. I know firsthand the power that education can bring to help you achieve your life goals, and know that it takes money from many different sources to pay for it. Being able to contribute to help someone achieve their goals has always been my dream, and I am so excited to launch this Young Money Scholarship. We are certainly in unprecedented times given what is happening with the global pandemic, both the health issues and the impacts to the economy. And so while we are all facing this global pandemic, we are not in the same boat. And some of you have heard me say this before. Every company's financial situation is different, and one solution will not work for everyone. And there are 2 things that I absolutely know to be true. Number 1, there are strong companies in every industry who will not only survive, but thrive during this global pandemic. And number 2, companies that plan for the future, especially when it comes to cash flow, perform better than those who don't. Those that are leading, planning, being proactive will thrive. I want to share a story about what client I was working with, Christine. And she was really so impressive in terms of how she stepped into the role of the company. When we met, she was really focused on the operational, technical parts of the business. And over the time of us working together, I could see as we started diving into the numbers, because she expressed discomfort with them when we started working together, but as her confidence grew and her knowledge grew, she really took on that larger CEO role and started setting the strategic direction for the business, not only focused on the technical of the operational excellence, but really how can this business grow? How can it scale? How can it do more? And it certainly fed to the financial results, because as she was able to make those shifts, they were able to increase sales and increase profitability on every single sale. And so I share that with you to give you a little bit of inspiration for what we're going to talk about today. It's really important to know that you can't delegate your way out of being responsible for the numbers. It is so critical that you know them, not only the sales and expenses, but have a really practical and hands-on understanding of your cash flow position. And in these times, it's never been more important to be in control of your cash. So let's dive in. So what I was just sharing with you is absolutely the first part of the teaching. Number 1, your role as business owner. And as I shared with what Christine was doing, she really stepped in from being a manager to the CEO. And it was such a fantastic thing to see right before my very eyes. You might be thinking that the transition to that change of thought process, change in mind took many, many months. It was in the span of a couple of weeks. And it was like something just switched. It wasn't that she was incapable before. She certainly had the ability, very, very smart woman, but changing the lens and changing the perspective. So as the owner of the business, you need to realize that you are responsible for the complete strategic direction of the business. You set the goals, you drive it. And a huge part of being able to hit your goals is knowing your numbers. As I said, not only the sales and expenses, but having that practical hands-on understanding of your cash flow position. And so as you can use money as a tool to help you reach your goals, you're really stepping into that role. You're not delegating it to a bookkeeper or an accountant. So that is our first teaching point in this episode, your role as business owner. Number 2 is as we move forward and we start talking about the top 3 biz money mistakes that I see. And certainly I want to give you some guidance on how to avoid them. So mistake number 1 is reviewing your financial results with your accountant only once a year. So let's talk through what this looks like. Your year end is December. You give your stuff to the accountant anywhere between 2 to 4 months after year end, and then get your statements done. You review the numbers with them. Basically, the meeting goes like this. They will start by saying, here's what the numbers say. You look at the numbers. You can't even remember what was going on at the business at that time because it was so long ago. You don't have any real questions to ask them. They're trying to move you along because they've got a backlog of other people's work to go through. What a waste of time and resources and valuable information. So how could you avoid this? You need to have access to your numbers on a monthly basis. Whether it's in an accounting software or something like an Excel program really depends on the size of your business. It is critical to be able to plan to reach your goals. You need to have those numbers to make decisions and to certainly grow your business with confidence. You will feel less stress. You won't be in the dark about what's going on in the business. And from there, you can forecast not only sales and expenses into the future, like a pro forma income statement or P&L, whatever you want to call it, but also how this translates into the cash flow cycle for your business, those monies that come in, those monies that go out, and the timing that it happens. And all of this together is proactively going to allow you to deal with any issues that surface. You're going to deal with them proactively so that you can come up with a wider range of options to deal with the problem, as opposed to the problem happens and now you're in a jam and you have to find a solution within days or hours. So mistake number 1, reviewing financial results with your accountant only once a year. So moving on to mistake number 2, focusing only on the top line and ignoring the bottom line. And now when I'm talking about these lines, I'm really talking about those numbers on your income statement, your profit and loss, your P&L, top line being sales, bottom line being the profit. And I see this all the time. So if you're doing this, you don't need to feel bad. I see it pretty consistently. But when you do this, you are completely losing sight of all of the expenses and the concept of profitability. Think about all those who want to scale and grow their businesses. And that could be some of you. I know it's not for everyone, but the majority of business owners do want to grow their sales so they can in turn increase their profit and get paid consistently. One question I'd like to have you think about is one of your goals to be profitable? And it might sound like a given, and you might be thinking, Tracey, of course, but most small business owners are not running their businesses with this as an actual goal. And so in the majority of cases that I see with clients that I'm working with, they are not profitable. So please consider, is that actually one of your goals? Is it stated? Is it explicit? And if it isn't, you need to ensure that you've got that there. And so as we are being consistently profitable and we're driving that, then we can make sure as business owners, we're getting paid consistently. So if we're only focused on the sales, we're not focused on the bottom line, that's mistake number 2. And how can we avoid it? Just like we discussed with mistake number 1, when we were talking about reviewing our results only once a year, when we have access to monthly financial information, we can monitor not only the sales levels, but also the expenses. And so it becomes really easy for us to see the top line and the bottom line. It is critical that we keep an eye on the bottom line as it triggers us to look into our products or services, see maybe they are unprofitable, areas that we might be spending too much on, such as overhead, so the things we have to pay, whether or not we have any sales, and the list goes on. So we need access to not only the monthly reporting, but then we need to take the time to review it, to ask questions, to validate it, and then actually use that information in our business. This helps us start to understand our cash flow cycle because we are not only seeing the sales and then thinking through when we will get paid, but we are also then very focused on when payments need to get made, how those inflows and those outflows are going to interact in our business. So mistake number 2, focusing on the top line and ignoring the bottom line. And finally, that brings us to mistake number 3, commingling business and personal finances. And so when everything is a mess, we can't get a handle on what is going on in our business or in our personal life. I'm sure you've been there. I'm sure you've felt it. If we know we are tight on cash, we don't necessarily know why. Are our products priced correctly? Is it just that sales are low? Or is everything fine in the business and it's our personal life that's really dragging things down? And so how can we avoid it? We are going to have separate bank accounts, credit cards, even if we are a sole proprietor, to keep those transactions separate. And so mistake number 3, commingling business and personal finances. And so just to recap those 3 mistakes, number 1, reviewing financial results with your accountant only once a year. Number 2, focusing only on the top line and ignoring the bottom line. And mistake number 3, commingling business and personal finances. Which brings us to the last learning point. How do we start new routines that'll support our business in the future? And when I'm working with my clients and teaching them how to manage cash flow, it really happens in baby steps. And I talk about my 5 steps to cash flow clarity. And so for me, they are, where are we starting? Number 2, what is all the money coming in? Step 3, estimating those outflows. 4, putting it together in a forecast. And number 5, which is absolutely critical for these new routines we're going to start, is to make it a routine. And so we really need to set aside time in our calendar. Ideally, when you're starting, you're going to do it weekly. You're going to have such a thing as a money meeting. You will want to do that either with yourself. You may have meetings with your bookkeeper, your accountant. If you have other key personnel in your business you want to loop in, be doing that. And even if you don't know where to start, the very first meeting, you're going to just look into your bank accounts, look at your statements, see what's going on, start looking at your profit and loss, and keeping that dedicated time in your schedule, just like you do for delivery for clients, just like you do for sales. It's a fundamental piece of your business. So start that new routine so you can plan and support your business into the future. So we've gone through a lot in this short episode. We've talked about your role as business owner, those top 3 biz money mistakes. So only looking at your numbers once a year, only focusing on sales, not profit. And number 3, commingling all your business and personal stuff. And then we just talked about how do we start these new routines. So now what? Are you feeling great about where you are in your business? If you are, give yourself a pat on the back right now, because I know some of these biz money mistakes are not being done by everyone. And so if you're not doing them, give yourself a pat on the back. You might also be feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm on a runaway roller coaster. Please get me off this horrible money ride. I do not want to be on it. Or you might be somewhere in the middle. And so I've shared as much as I could today in our limited time together, but we've really just scratched the surface on this cash flow conversation. And so for those who want to learn more, I have a special invitation for you today. I am excited to invite you to the Cash Control Bootcamp, a 4-week live online group program to help you understand and plan for your company's cash flow. There are 2 things that I know to be true. As I mentioned, every industry's got those strong performers who are going to thrive. And number 2, successful companies plan and proactively prepare for what's coming in the future. So to find out more details and get registered today, our next round will be kicking off in early August. Check out the link in the show notes. My clients tell me that they appreciate my ability to deliver often difficult and complicated financial messages with a soft, caring, but results-oriented approach. They also say it's rare to meet someone who is highly knowledgeable and experienced, yet totally down to earth. It's even more rare when that person's area of expertise is finances. Making money make sense. And it is my absolute privilege to help money make sense, to witness that financial confidence grow and see the transformation in my clients as they begin to see what's possible for them personally as well as in their business. My clients put in the hard work and with my support and guidance, take control of their financial situations and make decisions with confidence. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, the Young Money Scholarship Fund is powered by Bissett Financial Fitness, Inc. A portion of Bissett Financial's sales proceeds go towards scholarships to qualifying post-secondary students. So if you enroll in the Cash Control Bootcamp, you will be helping post-secondary students. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 150, the top 3 biz money mistakes to avoid, and to continue to celebrate the launch of the Young Money Scholarship Fund powered by Bissett Financial Fitness, Inc. If you know a student who should apply, share the episode with them. Now hold up a minute before you go. If you are an entrepreneur looking to take control of the cash flow in your business, please check out the Cash Control Bootcamp. Join me for the 4-week live online program to help you understand and plan for your company's cash flow. Don't just survive, but thrive during this global pandemic. So check the link in the show notes to get registered today. Until next time, take good care and stay financially fit.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. To all you millionaires in the making out there, if you love this podcast, please subscribe on iTunes to keep your financial fitness training going. Oh, and leave us a review. And be sure to visit Bissett, 2 S's, 2 T's, financialfitness.com to take your free financial fitness assessment. Find out how financially fit you really are. See you next week, young millionaires to be.